episode of Bet GPT. This is episode 90, and we have another tennis special for you guys today. We have our local tennis expert, Joey Isaacs, back on the pod. We're going to be talking Indian Wells today. Slade joining us as always. So tennis's de facto fifth major coming up in Palm Springs starting a couple days from now. So we wanted to go through kind of some tennis storylines, give our best bets. And really, we wanted to get Joey Isaacs back on the pod because I think you were like 7-1 on our Australian Open pod, so no pressure to follow
Yeah,
up on that.
no pressure whatsoever. And Rybakina came through, so it's a lot of
Yes,
pressure on my women's pick.
yeah. So that was, I mean, if you're tailing that, that's pushing 10 units right there. So definitely profitable Aussie Open for us, and we're hoping to roll it over. But okay, so let's get started here. I think what we want to do here is we want to just talk about some storylines headed into kind of this tournament here, and then we can kind of go through each draw, men's and women's, quarter by quarter, and see kind of what sticks out to us. So I have a couple things I wanted to touch from the top, but Joey, I'll hand it over to you first. Are there any major storylines or things you're really kind of keeping your eye on as this tournament starts up?
Sure. So first of all, I think one of the biggest storylines is just to preview Indian Wells. If you're not familiar, it's probably like one of as you said, the fifth major, and it's probably one of the tournaments where you have some players who just can love it, and then some players who just can't play at Indian Wells, more so than almost any event I can kind of think of. So I think that'll be interesting to talk about. It's some of the craziest conditions, wind and heat, and the desert and all that combined with very slow balls. Now we got new balls. That's another
Mm-hmm.
storyline that we can
Yeah, and
touch on.
then I'm glad you brought up the new balls. Taylor Fritz brought that up on one of his Twitch streams a couple days ago. They're switching to Dunlap balls. Supposedly, that's supposed to kind of slow things down a little bit. The balls get super beat up really quickly. So that'll be interesting. I feel like we're going to see serves kind of get neutralized, and we're going to see some longer rallies, which should hopefully make for some good viewing. And then also going back to your point on the weather, I remember I was there last year and I went to a Tiafo match on Friday night at it went to like 11 o'clock and I was freezing. Like I had a sweatshirt, sweatpants, like it's bundled up. And then the next morning I'm watching Fonseca Draper at 10 a.m. and it's like 90 degrees. So it's just very
Right.
interesting kind of the dynamic there.
Yeah, and one thing is that all the courts play a little different too. So I think a lot of people talk about Indian Wells. They're like, this is a slow, hard court, right? Um, but you have, I think, court Stadium One is known as actually being fast for a hard court, and then uh, Stadium Two is very slow. So it's just fast court, and then you have slow conditions, and then you have a slow court and crazy windy conditions. So it's like, I remember like 5 years ago, you could pretty much just like use clay court data and be like, this guy's going to do well here, maybe. Now with, no, I don't even think these players know what to expect with the pen ball. You said it's going to be longer rallies, but in in the qualifying yesterday, there was like a record amount of aces, I think.
Interesting. Yeah. So
So,
truly, it could still be up in the air. We should know probably within that first day, kind of how it's
right.
going to
And
go.
when it's hot, the
Hopefully.
balls just fly before. So now with the new
Yeah.
balls, maybe they won't fly.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'll
Right.
be very interesting for sure. Defending champ, I want to call out Jack Draper on the men's side and Mira Andreeva on the women's side. Both were, relative surprises. They were both players who were kind of waiting to bust out. Draper's been injured. He kind of just got back onto the scene within the past 2 weeks. So he has, 1,000 points to defend. It's going to be interesting to see if he can make a run here. And then Andreeva, she was kind of a popular pick for one of the majors, whether it was Wimbledon or U.S. Open at the end of last year, for her to kind of bust out onto the scene, and that didn't end up happening at all either. So, do you? I guess real quick, could you imagine that it's going to be winners where it might not be in like the top four of the odds boards, or do you think it's going to be kind of one of the favorites that's going to
Well,
win this
for the
tournament?
men, I kind of see, and Sinner didn't play last year because of his
Yep.
suspension, and
Hmm.
he's gonna be my pick for the men.
Taking Yannick. Okay.
We
Okay.
can go into the draw, but it's a really easy draw. And for the women, of course, it can be a surprise. Maybe not a huge surprise. Like I don't think Mira's a huge surprise. Like not like you're not gonna see 100 to 1, but sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think anyone to me that's kind of a surprise. Um, it's not like pushing 40 to 1, maybe in like the mid to high teens range. Like I'm not like shocked, right? But it's still like, oh, they played really well and beat some like really top tier talent.
Yeah,
Yeah, Slade. I think on the women's side, you told me you have a pick. I don't know if you have
I
thoughts on the
well, hold
men's
on.
side.
I have a long shot that
okay.
I read the sharp betters are really loving this guy named Arthur Phils. I know nothing
Arthur
about him.
He's
Oh, there's an L in there.
French.
What? Okay,
he's
French.
French.
gotcha. Okay, yeah. Apparently the sharps love him.
The girls do
Well,
too.
the he that's funny. I have this in my notes. So kind of talk. Let's just break down the men's side first. So obviously it's Alcaraz versus Sinner, right? Sinner's 7-2 going into this year. He lost to Djokovic at the Australian Open, and then he lost to Jakub Mensik in Qatar 2 weeks ago. Whereas Alcaraz is 12-0. He actually just beat Artur Fies in Qatar. He beat him in 50 minutes. It was his quickest win of his career. And I have some stats real quick on Alcaraz I wanted to pull up. So this is his career versus just 2026. His first serve has gone from 65 to 68% in. Percent one is up 2% to 74%. Second serve points has seen a 3% increase. He's winning 59% of those, and he's having 6.1 aces per match. So I feel like he's really kind of honed in on his serve, and I ultimately think that's what's kind of been pushing him um, past the competition lately, and that's why I will be taking Alcaraz to beat Sinner in this tournament in
Hmm.
the finals.
Okay.
But yeah, let's break down the draw. So pulling it up here, starting from the top, this first quarter. And yeah, let me just read this off, and then Joey, I'll hand it off to you. But we have Alcaraz, Rinderknech. They could meet in the round of 32. They played a 3-set match a couple weeks ago. Other notable names: Bublik, Cam Norrie, who past champ. Somehow that happened. Won't happen again this year. And then Alex Demonauer, who I don't even want to pull. I think he's like 0-20 in his career against Alcaraz and Sinner. So I think he's not really a name here. What do you think? Alcaraz kind of gets through this pretty easily. Q1.
No, it's pretty stacked. It's a pretty stacked page. Let me pull it up.
I,
Um,
I,
let me
I
go over.
understand that it's stacked. Like I like Bublik, but if Bublik's like lack of focus, if he's having lack of focus, like he could lose early. I don't see Darderi having a chance. I don't think Demonauer can be Alcaraz. Like I
Yeah,
literally think his toughest match could be Rinderknech in the round of 32 if his serve has been on point as it has been.
yeah. No, I think that Carlos actually, I don't think he. I don't know what I think he lost in the semis last year, but he actually is great at Indian Wells. Probably better than Miami if he's going to win one of the two, which he could win both. But uh, getting the number 6 seed to be demeanor, he's not going to beat Alcaraz. So it's a really he is going to make the semis probably, right? But with any draw, he probably would. If you look at Djokovic's draw, a lot of people think that he got a really tough draw. But that's my favorite thing about the draw ceremonies. It's like, oh my God, look at his draw. It's like, oh, dude, every player they put in, almost besides a couple, are going to be like professionals, right? So
Yeah.
it's like my player's playing professional. It's like, okay, get over it. Um, I
So
think that paper is not the same as last year, and I like Fritz's chances to get through in the
yeah.
Djokovic section.
So Q2, Djokovic, Fritz at the bottom, Draper and Medvedev are thrown in there. It's probably going to be one of those four. I know Medvedev Hachinov and Rublev actually were just getting out of the Middle East, so hopefully they're able to make it to the tournament.
Yeah,
But
I
you were
don't
saying
know if
you like
Medvedev
Fritz to
can
come through.
play.
What'd you say?
I can see Medvedev not playing it. Uh, you know, not to get into psychological stuff, but I can't imagine that this whole getting out of Dubai thing was easy emotionally. Like
Hmm.
they might just and coming off a title, he's I can totally and he's played a lot of tennis. I can see him just being like, let's go to Miami, let's take this week off. He hates Indian Wells, notorious. Like he's known for hating it. Um,
It's funny, he hates it, but I think he's made the finals twice, not last year, but the two
yeah,
previous
I
years.
mean,
So,
I'll say that's like 50-50 he plays.
hmm.
Uh, I'm sure the schedule. I'm sure he's in touch and trying to get like a late start. But I'll say Fritz has a nice draw. I don't think that his seed is not good outdoors. He's not good at anything but indoor fast. To be like fair, and Umbert. So I see Mickelson playing Fritz, and Fritz is just better than him. And then if he plays Djokovic, I can see it being like a toss up. I like Djokovic's chances to go through. He's playing a lot of guys who have big serves, and he should win the rallies when it gets to neutral, like
Yeah,
Pericard.
GMP and
Yeah,
yeah,
he could
Hurkacz
lose to
potentially.
Cerundolo, but probably not.
Yeah, I
So
don't
I'll
think that
say
would really be an
Fritz
issue.
is gonna make it through, and I'm not a Fritz guy usually.
The only hesitation I have with Fritz is I know he's kind of been battling a knee injury or a leg injury, whatever it's been. Seemed like he was fine. He played Shelton in the Dallas finals a couple weeks ago, and it was a really competitive match. He probably should have won. Kind of pissed
Yeah,
it away there at the end. But yeah, I would honestly, I'm not a Fritz guy either. Um, I would lean Fritz here, but I think Fritz's record against Djokovic is like, oh man, I don't know if he's ever beaten him.
yeah,
Let's
it's
see.
not. It can't be pretty, but this is not the same Djokovic as we've
I
seen.
we just said like yeah, Djokovic is 11-0 against Fritz. We've said that, but then like this Djokovic just beat Sinner somehow in the Australian Open
That's
semis.
true.
So especially this best out of three format definitely helps Djokovic out if he can grind out a set and then win a tiebreak.
Yeah.
Um, does bode well for him. But yeah, okay. I would go Fritz there. Slade, do you have any thoughts on Fritz versus Djokovic before we move on?
No, nothing really.
Okay.
I might have
All
something when
right.
we get to was it the fourth quarter they call it?
Okay. We
Yeah.
can have you kick off. We can have you kick off the fourth quarter.
Okay.
Real quick. Q3. This is Zverev and Musetti, the 4 and 5 seeds respectively. Archer Fees, Rublev, Felix Auger Aliassime, Tiafo, Nakashima. Some really solid names in this Q3. I could see, I don't know, a handful of these guys getting through potentially. Um, Joey, you have any thoughts on Q3?
Honestly, I agree. I could see. I wouldn't be shocked if any seed, there's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 seeds. I wouldn't be shocked if any of those 8 made it through.
Yeah.
You have 2 guys who won tournaments last week in Kabali and Tiafo. They'll play each other. And you got Nakashima, Zverev. So I think Zverev is maybe like at best like what is he on DraftKings? But I'd say like man plus 150 maybe. I'd be surprised if he's better than that.
To win the
So
quarter, yeah.
in that quarter, I'll say I love what I saw from Rublev. He's just also not very good at Indian Wells, but I think that he got no points to defend. He can come in. He's played really well in Dubai. I think he's starting to put it together. I think he's gonna come through. I'll go Rublev.
Wow, interesting. So he's going to have a round of 32 against Auger Aliassime. I watched that Auger Aliassime Medvedev match about a week ago. Um, do you think FAA's best tennis was like the U.S. Open when he kind of put that scare into center? Or do you imagine he's going to be pretty strong in 2026?
Yeah, no, I do. I think he is like great indoor hard court player. probably great, fast, hardcourt player like U.S. Open, but at this event, I think it's not great for him. So I'll go Rublev. Um,
Gotcha.
I think
I
that he
I
lost
think
last
that
year first round to someone pretty shitty, but if you look at the stats, he dominated. He was like 0 for 11 break points, and the other guy was like 1 for 1, and kind of thing. So I think that if he can win his first round, he can get some confidence and he can win any match. So I'll go Rublev quarter three.
I could see it. I could see it. I think you mentioned you can see 8 seeds winning it. I can't
Yeah.
imagine 7 for whatever reason. I just don't think it's going to be Zverev. I'm
Wow.
sick of him being in the top 3 or 4. I don't think he's a top 4 player in the world. He hasn't shown it.
He's
I think
also
he's more in
13 and
the.
he's 13-10 in his career in this event, so I don't think he plays well here either.
I didn't know it was that poorly.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Zverev's more of like the 7, 8, 9 range. I think he's just turning 29 years old or something like that, which I don't want to call that old because I'm 29. I still feel like I'm young, but not in tennis years.
I thought he was
Um,
older.
really?
Yeah, he's been around
You,
forever.
you think is he in the
I remember
30s?
taking him to
He's
win the U.S.
28.
Open.
He's
That's
28.
crazy.
He
Wow.
I
turns
remember taking
29 in
him to win the
April.
U.S. Open. It must have been 8 years ago. I don't even know, but I was like, this is his year to win the U.S. Open, and he choked. That was so
That
long ago.
Yeah, that was in. I don't even know what year that was because I remember he totally wasn't he. Was he serving against
No, that was the year after, I think, that he was serving. That was the COVID year that he blew it versus.
2020? He against Dominic Thiem. He was up
Yeah,
2 sets to love. He was up 5-3 in the fifth set. Yeah, that's
but this was before that. This was pre-COVID, where he was like,
gotcha.
I think he was the pre-tournament favorite.
Wow.
It was like the end of Nadal, Federer, um, pre Sinner and Alcaraz, and Djokovic must have been hurt.
Yeah, that was kind of his window. Didn't take advantage of it, and now he's stuck dealing with Sinner and Alcaraz.
Yeah.
Um, I think ultimately I'm going to go with Musetti,
Okay.
which is pretty insane that Musetti still has 0 career tournament wins. I'm not sure how that's possible for a top 5 player, but he's done it. I don't think he's going to necessarily win this tournament, but I have him in the semis.
Okay. Great.
Okay, Q4 Slade. You said you had some thoughts on Q4. I know Sinner's in
Yeah.
here as well as Ben Shelton.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Sinner is gonna win ultimately, but Ben Shelton was my pick at 6-1. If I was just to play the odds a little bit, I don't really trust anybody else in this group, and I just think he's got a solid play that I think will at least give Sinner a challenge. I like I said, I don't think he'll win, but I think if I had to play
Mhm.
somebody else, I mean, they're saying he has an implied probability of like 14%. I think his odds of winning are probably a little higher than that, so it might be good value. But like I said, I mean that's still saying 75% chance he doesn't get it done. But that's why it's 6-1.
I think Shelton has lost, at least in the Grand Slams, he's lost to Sinner and Alcaraz, or Alcaraz his last 6 Grand Slams. He just keeps running into them, and obviously he
Yeah.
will in this tournament too.
He's if he's gonna do it though, it's gonna be 2 out of 3 sets. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, win a tiebreak.
yeah,
Because really, if he all he's got to do is hold serve,
Mm-hmm.
you know, 13, 14 times, 12 times. So, um, yeah, it's definitely possible. I really like Ben Shelton. I think Sinner is going to be pretty upset based off how he's performed in 2026, and I ultimately will be taking him to go to the finals. But I really like to see him against Shelton or Jakub Mensik, who just beat Sinner a couple weeks ago. It's really nice to see him bust out into the scene again. I think he won Miami last year over
he did
Djokovic, right?
actually.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah, he did.
yeah. Couple other names here: Lerner, Tien, Tommy Paul, a couple of Americans. Be nice to see them win a couple
Mhm.
matches, but um, yeah. Okay. So ultimately, I think we're just going Sinner Alcaraz final.
Okay.
Um,
Again, I agree.
I have a quick scenario here for you, real quick. What if Alcaraz beats Sinner? Alcaraz is obviously the better clay player. Well, I know it was competitive last year in the French Open, but if Alcaraz wins the French,
Hmm.
is there some pressure on Sinner and Darren Cahill in his camp? Do you think he could make a change? We've seen Alcaraz make a change. He's playing really loose, having fun. Sinner's kind of been struggling a bit. Do you think that would kind of put some pressure on Sinner to look into a new coach?
Make a change? I don't think he would. He seems like a little like just personality wise, like not that he's not like cutthroat like that, like Djokovic kind of thing. I don't know. And Kale's leaving after this year, anyways. So
Isn't that what he said last year though? I thought you said he was going to be done last year unless Sinner won the U.S. Open, and then he
yeah, I think he did say that, but I think Sinner like begged him. That's why I don't think he's gonna then fire him.
yeah, that makes
Uh,
sense.
so I do think he maybe will shake it up like at the end of this year. Uh, I'm just waiting for him to show like some improvement, over like the last year or two. He hasn't taken his game to the next level like at all. So, well, you keep waiting for Sinner to like look like the best player in the world, and he hasn't for a long time. So
Yeah.
I'm going with him, but this might be the last time I say, okay, he's better than Alcaraz.
What do you think the line would be in the Sinner Alcaraz final?
I don't know. Uh, Sinner's been favored like by a lot recently. I don't think we're gonna see that again. I could see it being like Sinner minus 115, minus 120.
Yeah,
It
I
depends
feel like
also
that's
on,
about right.
but I don't think you'll see either player over minus 135 this time.
Yeah. I almost feel like the best way to go about if you want to bet Alcaraz, like just try to
Yeah.
bet him live and see if you can get a little bit of plus money on him. I
Uh-huh.
feel like he's more prone to making a comeback, whereas if Alcaraz has the lead, I don't necessarily believe in Sinner to come back. But once again, this is 3 sets. We've
Yeah.
kind of seen Sinner's biggest kryptonite are these like 4 or 5 hour matches that he just can't win, and Alcaraz can. But that's not going to
True.
be a
That is
problem
crazy to see
here.
those stats because you don't think of him as someone who's not fit, but
Hmm.
we'll see.
Yeah. Are there any first round, not to put you on the spot, any first round matchups you have or you're looking to bet or have bet, or is that something you'll probably tweet out closer to?
Yeah,
Uh,
I haven't bet anything on the men's side yet.
okay.
We got a rematch of Dimitrov Atman. If you like, value in some ways. I had Atman last week, and now you're getting Dimitrov like minus 150 at a venue that I mean should be way better than Mexico for him. So I don't hate that. It's really hard to beat someone 2 straight weeks, especially because he has like an awkward game. I think Dimitrov will have a much better game plan this time. So I like Dimitrov,
Okay.
um, and that is honestly about it. I thought I liked Martin Dam. Not to bet, but I liked the other guy was like a crate. Like the opener was terrible. Martin Dam opened like minus 300. I didn't even bet it just because I think I didn't bet it, but uh, so now it's like minus 175. I think it'll drop a little more. I do like his game, and I think it should be good at Indian Wells too. Uh,
I think
but
probably
that
the best match is Tsitsipas against Shapovalov. Tsitsipas minus 134, Shapovalov plus 110. You were just texting me a couple weeks ago about Shapovalov looking good.
Yeah, he is
I'll probably be tailing Shapovalov in that match.
okay. So I'll say Dimitrov's my first round guy, my first round pick for the pod.
Okay. And I will do Shapovalov for myself. Sounds good. Okay. But yeah, like anything else, if I see anything or if you see anything, we'll tweet it out. So obviously check out our
Great.
accounts, turn notifications on. We'll keep track of that. If we're ready to wrap up the men's side, then we can shift over to women. If you guys are cool with
Let's
that.
Yep.
do it.
All right. Sounds good.
Shifting.
All right. So for the women, as we said earlier, Mira Andreeva is the defending champ. She's the 6th seed this year. Whereas the top seeds this year are obviously Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, Rybakina, and Coco Gauff. So let's just go quarter by quarter first, and then we can talk winners. Q1, I feel like this is like the quarter of death. We're seeing Sabalenka, Jovic, the young American, Jovic, Naomi Osaka, who's obviously great on hard court, Victoria Mboko, the young Canadian who's burst onto the scene, Emma Raducanu, and Anisimova, the American. Pretty loaded in my eyes.
Very. It's still Sabalenka's to lose. I do think she is better, like a head and shoulders. Like she's the closest to Sinner Alcaraz, the only consistent player who just is like, okay, finals, write her in. So it is loaded, but I do think I don't think that Sabalenka is going to be too troubled early on.
What about with Anisimova? I know they played in what the U.S. Open final, went to 3 sets.
Yeah,
Sabalenka eventually won. Anisimova she's lost 3 times this year. One of them she retired from a match, but the other 2 losses have both been to Jessie Pegula, who's just been
yeah,
rock solid this year.
yeah. And she should have won. She should have won the last one. She was up like 6-1, 3-1. She's better on faster hard courts, so I don't think that this is going to be the best tournament for her. I like someone like Osaka or Mbako someone who could beat Sabalenka if anyone is going to from that top page.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not loving what I see from Anisimova. I'll even put her on upset alert versus Raducanu
Ooh,
in the
interesting.
second round or the third round for the.
Yeah, that'd be a fun match. I was watching the I was watching like the draw reveal yesterday live, and it was like so cheesy. They were like trying to hype up Sloane Stevens because she's American. I was like,
Yeah.
why are we even talking about her right now?
I know, but at least they're not talking about the divorce.
Oh, true.
So there's that.
Okay. Q2, Coco Gauff, the 4 seed. I know she's been struggling lately. I'm on record not a Coco Gauff guy. Her serve scares the crap out of me, but seems like it's pretty favorable draw for her. Paulini, the 7 seed, is the next highest, which she has not been in great form. Slade, I know you bet Clara Towson like 100-1 in the Aussie Open, and she lost. But
Yeah.
she's in here.
It's my girl.
Nastova, Schneider. I'm
That's my
ultimately, man, I don't even think I have a pick here. I think it's going to be someone other than Goff or Paulini. I think this is where we could see a legitimate long shot. We see like Putin Seva and Badosa. They don't have first round buys, but they're here. Andrescu, yeah, former champ several years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of conviction here, other than I'm not a Coco believer.
Okay, I'm a big Schneider believer, but she lets me down. So
what have you seen to believe in her? Like, is it just like the potential? Because yeah, I feel like she's constantly just not playing to the level she needs to.
She always looks better than her opponent, and then somehow just can't win. It's like I've never seen someone playing her where they're better than her. Where I'm just like, she should win every time I see her play anyone on live. I'm like, she's better than them, and then she still loses. So I'm not gonna give up on her, but I don't see her making a run. I'll go with, and I don't love Viala. Man, I don't want to take any of these people. Let's go with Alexandrova.
Alexandrova. Okay.
Why not?
I could see it. I haven't watched a lot of her matches. I just remember, I know she's played Iga tough. a couple
Mhm.
times. Um, yeah, she's pretty solid. I feel like she's a player who doesn't have like a enormously high ceiling, but can really put together a few quality matches.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's a big serve too.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So Q2 kind of up for grabs. Moving to Q3, we have the 5 seed Jesse Pagula, 9 seed Lena Svitolina, or excuse me, 5 seed Pagula. Then it's 3 seed Rabakina. We have Madison Keys, your girl Ostapenko, Emma Navarro, who's about to drop super low in the rankings. Um, I almost picked Pagula to win this tournament. I changed my mind at the last second. She's been super consistent this year. Has never busted through to win a Grand Slam, but obviously just won the last WTA 1000 over in Dubai. Um, I'm gonna go with Pagula here.
okay, I think that's gonna be the pick by like a lot of people as the person to win this tournament. And she does have a nice draw. Like she really should cruise through to the quarterfinals. Um, so I, and then she'll play Rybakina, who I thought she was pregnant. To be honest, I know that I'm not sure if that rumor is getting any traction, but she was complaining about being like morning sickness and fatigue, and she was like, "I know what it is. I just can't say it." So I was
That was
expecting
recently.
that was last tournament when she pulled out mid match.
Oh wow,
She was like, "I
interesting.
had." She was like, "I had morning sickness. I'm really tired." And then she was like, "I note to the doctor." She's like, "I know what it is. I can't say right now." Um, and everyone was like, "Oh, is she pregnant?" Um, so who
Is
knows?
that when you hear something like that, like are you more inclined to maybe sprinkle a little on her to lose? Like she would verse Haley Baptiste potentially in the
No,
next round? Or is
no.
that more of something
If she shows up, if she shows up, then she's gonna be ready to play.
okay,
So and she'll be fine. And she's
okay.
probably really early on.
Yeah.
If she doesn't, maybe, and if she's, there's so many things that could have happened uh, in between the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Maybe she's not pregnant. Maybe she was. Maybe she was going through like something, with it, and now it's not. You never know when it's so early. So,
Yeah.
um, I think if she shows up, and I think she is showing up because I think she played some exhibitions and stuff. She'll be fine, and she is the player to beat. Uh, number two in my opinion right now. But I think we're
So
gonna see a.
are you going with her or Pagula?
I'll go with Rybakina.
Okay.
I'll stick to, but my pick to win the tournament is coming up in Q4.
And that is, I'm assuming, the 2 seed.
That is Iga, my girl, this tournament. Uh, Nice draw. I think these conditions are gonna be like unbelievable for her. Uh, and I think this is she has not necessarily played great. She's a former champion here, so she's going to be comfortable. I think her mindset seems pretty good going in. I think that there's not much pressure on her, and that's when she's at her best. Um, so I think she should be able to play her way into this tournament too, and you know, let's pull up her odds to win the tournament.
Yeah, it looks like she's sitting around plus 700, 7 to
Yeah,
1.
so that is going to be my pick.
Okay. Iga 7 to 1.
Let's lock it
Her
in.
draw, she's got Sakari, who she lost to in the previous tournament. I watched that match.
Uh-huh.
It was I don't even know how she lost. She lost like
Yeah,
a couple like key points and then kind of unraveled.
right.
Not too worried about that.
And that's been a final here in the past.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
I think
Forgot
maybe
about
even
that.
twice. It's maybe been a final twice here, but so they're both good at Indian Wells and comfortable in the desert.
There's also Zhang, who's coming back off her injuries. Her and
Yeah,
Iga have a little bit of a history when she beat Iga in the Olympic semifinals. So I know Iga's not too happy about that. Karolina Muhova, Svitolina's in here, and then obviously at the top, Mira Andreeva, the defending champ. I do think Iga's going to get through here pretty easily, and if she ends up winning this tournament, like that would just inspire so much confidence, I think, in her as we go into the clay season, who she
yeah,
has been the person to beat. Last year she struggled, but every year before that has been utterly dominant. Um, and she's won the Sunshine Double before, winning both Indian Wells and Miami. And that would be obviously huge to kind of consolidate that number 2 ranking for right now, because Rybakina is right on her heels.
yeah, and playing better tennis. So I think
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't even have that pressure. She's probably like 3 or 4 in everyone's mind right now. So this could be a big statement to be like, I'm back and I'm gonna be a force on clay.
Well, unfortunately, Elena
Okay.
Rybakina is going to win this tournament.
Well,
I, I,
that's the pod's bread and butter.
at the beginning of the pod, you were talking about not everyone's built to win at Indian Wells. She is. She's done it. 2023 champion. I think we're going to see her get it done.
Okay, I love that. I'm a big Rybakina fan from the Australian Open win.
If that is the one person Sabalenka does not want to see in the finals, I can tell you
No,
that.
yeah, it's a terrible matchup.
Yeah, yeah. I am So I'm normally an Iga guy. That's normally who I pick. She hasn't won the
Yeah.
past couple tournaments, so I don't want to jinx her. I'm going off Iga this time, and I
Okay.
just think you're trying to talk me off of it with Amanda Anisimova, but she's 16-1. I know the conditions don't necessarily suit her, but I do think that she has the firepower to beat Sabalenka. I know she's not afraid of Sabalenka. I think mentally she's kind of been she almost like unraveled in her previous match, was throwing her racket. I think hopefully she takes that as like a learning lesson, being
Mhm.
back playing in the US. And this is kind of the first time that she's played in this tournament where she's kind of on that national stage, because we saw her, make the Wimbledon final, the U.S. Open final, and now she's kind of solidified herself as one of the top American players. So hoping that kind of leads to some positive things here. I think a 16-1 is that's a bet I want to have in pocket. So I'll be taking Anisimova.
Amazing.
Okay. There is a couple other prop bets to close things out. uh, Player to win both tournaments, Indian Wells and Miami, looking forward. I know there's not necessarily like a ton of correlation, but could you see anyone on the women's side winning both tournaments? Sabalenka is 8-1, Iga 22-1, Rybakina 22-1.
If anyone's gonna do it, it's Sabalenka. Um, yeah, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, it's a lot of tennis, a lot of matches. I think
Um,
what you have to win 10
yeah,
matches, 10, 11 matches.
no, I
I
don't see it happening.
I think Sabalenka lives in Miami. Is that right? So I'd be more inclined to pick her to win in Miami, not necessarily Indian Wells. Um,
Yeah, and like Iga needs to play long points, and it's just too physical. So Sabalenka can like kind of like crush people and spend less time on the court,
yeah,
so that like she can be more fresh. I don't see it happening with anyone on the women's side.
sure. Okay. And then one more, just to have a little bit of fun here. Just total long shots, shot in the dark. Slade, you gave out Archer fees. He's at 100-1. I like hearing that. I think for mine, and this is like crazy, but Brandon Nakashima 150-1. I just watched him lose to Tiafo the other night, and Nakashima played way better. He looked great, and then in the at the end of the second set, got broke randomly. I think he was going to go on to win Acapulco, but I think that loss gave him some additional rest here. He's never won a big tournament quite like this. But I'm going to go with Nakashima 150-1 as my long shot.
That's crazy. All right, I'll give a first round women's pick that I like a lot. Oh, we got
Yeah.
Jennifer Brady back too. We didn't talk about that, but former
Oh
Grand
yeah.
Slam. Uh, I like Lily Tagger plus 150.
Okay,
That'll
let's
be
see here.
my women's play.
Lily Tagger going up against Savara Gracheva. Okay, mark that down. Sounds good. Um, so we have Dimitrov minus 151 against Ottman, and then you also are doing Lily Tagger plus and shop around. I'm seeing 130 on DraftKings. Probably get up to
It's
150
150
someplace.
on Bookmaker.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
She
Okay.
is she's maybe a future Indian Wells champion.
What is I'm not super familiar with her game. Do you have a little bit of background on her, or what's kind of your reasoning on? She's an 18-year-old from Austria. It looks like.
Yeah, one hand backhand.
Hmm.
She's really tall, power girl. I think she's just viewed as a big up and comer. I think this could be her breakout.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first. The cool thing about Indian Wells too is like if you want to go watch that match, it's probably going to be on one of the smaller courts. So, if you
Yeah,
imagine someone's going to break out pretty soon, it's really cool to kind of get up and sit 10 feet from the court, check things out.
totally.
And you are going next week, is that correct?
Be there this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So say what up
Nice.
if you're there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, any Bet GPT fans, hit us up if you're there.
Yep.
I'm going to try to go for the quarterfinals next Thursday. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, well, guys, appreciate you taking the time. We'll get back together again for sure for the French Open in April. Talk a little clay tennis. But yeah, keep following us on Twitter. Joey's obviously going to be tweeting out some plays, which I will be following. We'll try to do the same as well. So yeah, just like, subscribe, tell your friends about this pod. Plenty more tennis to come. Slade and I will be back next week, talking March Madness, some college hoops. And then we have the MLB season coming up too. So plenty of things going on. And then obviously we have the Oscars coming
Oh
up
yeah.
too, which
It's a great month.
yeah. So plenty of things going on. All right. Appreciate
All right,
everybody. This has been another episode of Bet GPT. Thank you.